Hello, College of the Desert students. Wendy Ansley here, kinesiology professor. Today we have a well-rounded flow. I have some props nearby, my blocks, a strap, and our theme today is yoga, where have you been all my life? So with that, just starting off, I want to share with you, it's been over 22 years ago since I've practiced yoga for the very first time. And the first time I was on my mat, left my mat, my thought was, as I walked to my car, yoga, where have you been all my life? This is a beautiful practice, right? Yoga is a gift, a way to move to preserve the body. We feel good afterwards. We feel accomplished. It is an opportunity for us to build strength, flexibility, and inner peace. Also, yoga is a daily healing practice. It's been very transformational in my life, both on and then off the mat, because I've cultivated these positive emotions and I take it with me in the real world. So, with that, let's get started. Let's start with a strap. And if you don't have a strap, you can use a towel, you can use a sweatshirt, you can use a belt. Try to be resourceful. So as we get started, maybe we, awaken those arches and spread those toes. We're going to take that strap wider than a shoulder width apart. And we're going to take the strap and we're going to draw kind of some shoulder flossing here. With the inhale, we're going to draw that strap over the head, and the exhale, draw it behind. Good. So we're going to inhale, draw that strap up, exhale in front. Good. Back and forth, a little shoulder flossing. Good. To open up those shoulders, shoulder mobility. Good. Let's hold the strap up here as we open the side body here. So let's allow, as I mirror you here, let's allow that right arm to weigh us down as we open that left side body. And let's breathe intentionally as we inhale and exhale through the nose. Maybe take the gaze towards that top arm, and we'll stay here several breaths, opening that side body. Inhale and rise. Gently, we're going to lower that left arm as we open that right side body. So exaggerate that right hip to the side. Maybe draw that left shoulder, left hip forward just a bit. And let's take the gaze towards that top arm. Opening that side body, lateral flexion of the spine. Inhale and rise. Let's draw that strap in the front here. So I hand selected these postures in a way to kind of yoga, where have you been all my life? That's what they inspired me, these postures. Let's do some more shoulder flossing. Figure 8. So we'll take the strap to the right. Good. Back, and now to the left. Beautiful. Back and forth to the right and the left. Good. Good. And let's draw the strap behind here. I want you to hold here and feel the shoulder blades come towards the spine as we open the chest and the heart. On the exhale, we're going to kiss those elbows round the back, draw the chin to the chest, shoulder blades move away from the spine. Inhale, straighten those arms, shoulder blades towards the spine, scapular retraction. Exhale, draw the chin to the chest, elbows towards one another, shoulder blades move away. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades towards the spine, open the chest. Exhale, draw the elbows, kiss the elbows, chin to the chest. Inhale, straighten those arms. Exhale, round as we draw the elbows, chin to the chest. Inhale, good. Draw that strap back over the head here. Let's do a few more back and forth. Good. Shoulder mobility. Good. Gently, let's set that strap off to the side. These props we always utilize to make the postures more accessible, sometimes to refine the postures to feel them at a deeper level. We'll start with some partial sun A's. The block can help bring the ground closer to us. It can be low, medium, or high. And of course, we can always bend those legs a little bit more, widen the feet if that helps us. Here we are in Tadasana. For some people, it might be hip width apart. For some people, feet together, maybe a little space between those heels. Let's ground through those heels and activate those arches and lift those toes as we gently, maybe the pinky 4/3, second, first toe to the ground, ground those toes, draw that energy from the ground. We call that Pada Bandha. Lifting those kneecaps, lightly engaging those quads. This is Tadasana here. Draw that navel in, roll the shoulders back, and the palms are open, kind of receiving the energy. Let's do 2 cleansing breaths. We're going to inhale through the nose, light pause. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Good. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And the majority of our practices, we inhale and exhale through the nose, calming the mind, connecting and breathing intentionally. Often there's a light restriction in the back of the throat between the exhale, and we call this sometimes the ocean breath, the Ujjayi breath, the victory breath. So breathing intentionally, connecting with the breath, and it's okay to be audible with that breath. So as we seal those lips here, good. On the inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. Draw that navel in and energy out the fingertips. If the shoulders are tight, we can keep them about shoulder width apart. On the exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees, swan dive down. Here's the blocks. We'll do a little heel and toe in our forward fold, dynamically warming up. Come into this halfway lift, either hands to the shins, the thighs, or maybe under the shoulders. The tailbone is lifted. We draw that navel in, sternum and chest come forward, and that crown of the head comes forward. Exhale, fold a bit deeper. This is where we stack the hips over the knees and the ankles. We come more to the midfoot. Breathe into that vulnerable backside of the body. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Draw that prana, that life force with you. Exhale, draw that prana back to the heart. Let's do a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. As we continue to breathe intentionally. Inhale, draw that energy, that life force. Draw length in the spine, almost like you're wearing high-waisted pants. Energy out the fingertips. With the exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees, swan dive down. We'll do another heel and toe, lubricating those joints. Come into this halfway lift, either hands to the shins, the thighs, or the ground. Drawing that sternum and chest forward. Good. Exhale, fold a bit deeper. This is where we might anchor through those big toes here as we continue to stack those hips over the knees and the ankles and allow that neck to be long, weighing us down. Connect with that ocean breath as we inhale and exhale through the nose. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Draw length in the spine. Exhale, draw the hands heart-centered. We'll take the feet a little wider, maybe hip width apart, maybe a little wider. So we continue to warm up and prepare for this practice. Take those hands behind and interlace those hands. You can use a strap if you're struggling. Try to draw those hands towards one another as you extend those arms, shoulder blades towards the spine. Feel the chest and the heart opening. This is a quick fix for when your shoulders are tight. Good. Draw the navel in. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, we're going to fold forward. Again, come more to the midfoot and that feeling of drawing those arms forward. Connect with that breath. As we inhale and exhale through the nose. That ocean breath. Rooting with both feet, draw that navel in, back flat, inhale, root and rise. Good. Gently release. Inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. Lift the lower ribs away from the pelvis. On the exhale, we're going to gently bend those knees, a swan dive down. Let's take that and let's bend that left leg and place the block now under the face. And let's draw that right arm up, maybe brush the chest as we draw that right arm up. Now we have a little mid-thoracic twist. Connect with that breath. The gaze is towards the sky, the fingertips. Gently release. Let's adjust now. Let's bend that right leg. The left leg stays straight. Place that block directly under the face. Let's brush that chest. Draw that left arm up. Uttanasana with a twist. Warming up our body for our practice. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Gently release. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Exhale, hands heart-centered. Let's connect with the breath here, hands by the heart. Feel the prana rise, the chest expand on the inhale. The exhale, the prana, come back down the spine. Come back to Tadasana, awaken those arches. Let's add a little wrist therapy. Let's extend that right hand in line with the shoulder, a little dorsiflexion of the fingers. Maybe clasp those 3 fingers just above that middle knuckle and draw those fingers towards you. We'll stay here several breaths. Gently release. Extend that left arm, a little dorsiflexion of those hands. Just clasp maybe above the middle knuckles here of the 3 fingers and draw those fingers towards us. Good. Warming up the wrists, strong hands, strong fingers. Beautiful. Let's draw both arms in front, maybe make a fist here, and we'll circle outward. We'll circle those wrists externally and internally. We'll add finger flicks. Good. Dexterity in the fingers, leaving no stone left unturned. Good. And maybe move those blocks off to the side. We're all unique in how we integrate and use those props to help us. We welcome them. Come back to Tadasana. Hands heart-centered, and this is where we set our intention for our practice. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Gratitude for these postures. Gratitude for the breath, the focus, the the energy that yoga helps us cultivate. As we take a moment and set our intention for our practice, let's gently bow the head and draw the fingertips to the forehead, and perhaps offer this practice for a friend, a family member, someone we know that could use our kind and compassionate energy. Gently draw the hands back heart-centered. Let's connect with the power of the heart. With the inhale, feel the prana rise, the chest expand. And the exhale, the prana come back down the spine. Good, beautiful Tadasana. Here we stand, yoga, open heart, open mind. Inhale, we're gonna draw that left arm up. Clasp behind that left elbow, so it's like a partial Gomukhasana, cow face arms, but we're gonna add a lateral flexion of the spine. We're trying to walk the fingertips down the spine, maybe between the scapula. On the exhale, we drop both elbows to the right as we open that left side body. So kind of exaggerate that left hip to the side. Releasing our triceps, opening our chest and shoulders. Inhale and rise. Let's connect with the breath. With the inhale, feel the chest rise and open. Gently release. And that's a gift of yoga. The breath and opening the chest with the postures helps increase our lung capacity. Inhale, draw that right arm up. Clasp just behind that elbow. Walk those fingertips down the spine. On the exhale, we're drawing those elbows to the left here, opening that right side body. Inhale and rise. Feel that chest expand. Exhale, release. Here we are in Tadasana. Awaken those arches, spread those toes. Inhale, draw that energy up, that life force. On the exhale, we're going to swan dive down. With the inhale, we have the halfway lift, either hands to the shins or the thighs. With the exhale, we're going to frame the feet, step back into Phalakasana plank. We might rock forward and back. My shoulders are over the wrists. I'm drawing that navel in, and my quads are engaged. The head is in line with the spine. My gaze is lightly down, lightly forward. Core strength, good. Gently lowering to the knees. This is where we're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose. Big toes touching, widen those knees. We're going to walk those arms forward, hands shoulder width apart. Send those hips towards the heels. This is a great way to modify, and we're going to lower our chest and forehead to the mat. We're going to stay here several breaths, reaping the benefits of lengthening the spine, but also knowing this is a pose that we can go to if we need a modification. This is often some of my students' favorite pose. Yoga, where have you been all my life? We're going to stay here for a while. Chosen, I'm going to open the door for Chosen here, my kitty. There we go, honey. You wanted some love. From wide-legged child's pose, now we're going to come to all fours. Let's draw the palms about a hand width in front of the shoulders. Tucking those toes, drawing that navel in. On the exhale, we're going to send those hips back, downward facing dog, our first downward facing dog. Hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. Let's do a little dynamic here. Heel and toe, lubricating those joints. Good. Let's come into a static hold in down dog as we press into the palms. Draw length in the spine. On the exhale, heels a little closer towards the ground. Connect with that breath. Yoga, where have you been all my life? On the inhale, we kind of releve up, gaze between those hands. On the exhale, let's walk the feet towards those hands. Come into that halfway lift. Either hands, shins, thighs, maybe under the shoulders. Tailbone lifted, crown of head come forward. Exhale, fold deep. Allow that neck to be long. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up, upward salute. Exhale, hands heart centered. Let's do a cleansing breath in Tadasana. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Let's continue this beautiful practice. Inhale, draw that energy up, upward salute. With the exhale, we're going to swan dive down into our forward fold here. Shift a little more to that midfoot. With the inhale, find this halfway lift. Good. With the exhale, we're going to frame the feet. We'll step that left leg back into Phalakasana plank. Shoulders over the wrist. Good. Spread those fingers. We have active fingers. Dome that upper back. Draw the shoulder blades away from the spine. Draw that navel in and tailbone under. Engage those quadriceps. Let's add some core functional drills here. With the exhale, we're going to round the back. Draw the left knee to the chest and the nose. Pause for breath. On the exhale, draw the left knee towards the right tricep. Pause for breath. On the exhale, draw the left knee towards the left tricep. Pause for breath. Inhale, find that plank. On the exhale, draw the right knee towards the chest and the nose. On the exhale, draw the right knee towards the left tricep. On the exhale, draw the right knee towards the right tricep. Pause for breath. Inhale, find that plank. Exhale, draw the left knee towards the chest and the nose. Round the back. Good. Exhale, draw the left knee towards the right tricep. Pause for breath. Exhale towards the left tricep. Good. Inhale, find that plank. Core, upper body strength. With the exhale, draw the right knee towards the chest and the nose. Pause for breath. With the exhale, draw the right knee towards that left tricep. With the exhale, draw the right knee towards that right tricep. Good. Step back. Inhale, plank. Humbly we surrender. Lower to the knees. This is Ashtanga Pranam. Knees, chest, and chin as we humbly surrender. The hips, the glutes stay lifted. We bend those elbows. Keep those elbows close to the sides. Knees, chest, and chin all at the ground at the same time. So good for spinal mobility. Shoulder blades are rooted against that upper back. Lightly press into the chin, knees, chest, and chin. Humbly surrender. Spinal mobility. With the exhale, we're sending those legs back, feet hip width apart, hands by the lower center ribs. Press into the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders back. Easy cobra, shoulders in line with those elbows. Come to all fours. Come into downward facing dog. I'm going to have you guys hold down dog here for a minute. I just got to tie the back of my shirt here. Good. Adho Mukha Svanasana, the downward facing dog. From downward facing dog now, we're going to draw the feet together. Heels a little bit closer towards the ground. With the inhale, we're going to lift that left leg up about hip height, toes pointed down. With the exhale, we're going to draw the left knee to the chest and the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand, and maybe adjust that right foot so it's hip width apart. Lower the right knee, top of the foot to the ground. This is for Anjaneyasana. Hands to those hips. We're rocking forward and back. Dynamic exploration. Inhale, here we are, Anjaneyasana. Press through the top of the back foot. Root through the four corners of the front foot. Draw that navel in. Lengthen the spine. With the inhale, we're lifting up. With the exhale, the release of the back hip. Gently draw the hands to those hips. Lower the hands to the ground. This is where we windshield wiper this back right leg. Now we extend those arms. Here we are, warrior two prep. Left knee stacked over the ankle. Let's follow the gaze over the fingertips. So we're opening that hips. This is where we draw the left knee towards that pinky toe. Good. We're going to add a little warm up here of modified extended angle. Maybe we'll take the block inside the foot if that helps us. Elbow and shoulder inside the knee. Draw that right arm over the head here. A little torso rotation. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward and under. Opening that right side body. Inhale and rise, warrior two prep. Frame the foot. Unwindshield wiper that back leg. We got a runner's pose, back leg straight and engaged. Good. Press into the palms. Exhale, make your way back to Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Hands shoulder width apart. Wrap those triceps behind. Good. Shoulders are engaged. With the exhale, feel that release, the heels a little closer to the ground. Staying in down dog, but the feet come together. This helps us release those calves a bit. Good. With the inhale, we're going to draw that right leg up to about hip height, toes pointed down. With the exhale, this is where we round that upper back. Draw the right knee to the chest and nose. Place the right foot inside next to the right hand. Maybe adjust that back foot, hip width apart. Lower the back knee, top of the foot. Hands to those hips. Rock forward and back. Anjaneyasana. Press through the top of the back foot. Root through the four corners of the front foot. Feel those inner thighs coming towards one another. We call that the scissoring of those hips. Draw the navel in. Inhale, draw those arms up. Maybe the gaze comes up. Inhale, we lengthen. Exhale, we release the back hip flexors. Beautiful Anjaneyasana. Draw those hands to those hips, lower to the ground. This is where we windshield wipe this left leg. And now we have a little extended angle prep here. Extend those arms like a T. Good. Warrior two prep. Knee comes over the ankle towards that pinky toe. Follow the gaze so you feel the hips are opening. Good. Let's add that extended angle prep. Maybe we're going to take the block inside if that helps us. The block brings the ground closer to us. Elbow and shoulder inside the knee. We begin to draw that arm over the head, palm towards the ground, opening that left side body. Let's connect with the breath here. Feel that release. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward and under. The gaze is towards the top arm and the fingertips, if we can. Feel the opening of the side body. Beautiful. Inhale and rise. Back to this warrior two prep. Good. On the exhale, we frame the feet. Maybe move this block. Here we have this runner's pose. Back leg straight and engaged, front knee stacked over the ankle. Press into the palms. Adho Mukha, hands shoulder width apart. Good. Pressing through the palms and all the fingers. We're rooting a little bit more with the index fingers, the inner edges of those hands. Shoulders are engaged. As we press through the palms, you have length in the spine. On the exhale, the heels a little closer towards the ground. Feel the release of those hamstrings. We're going to add a vinyasa. We're going to modify. Inhale, we find the plank. Chaturanga. This is we're going to either you can modify by lowering the knees, bending those elbows, right? Or we're going to shift forward on the balls of the feet, draw that sternum and chest forward, shoulders in line with those elbows. The gaze is down slightly ahead. Whole body is engaged, shoulder blades rooted against the upper back. Upward facing dog. Press to the tops of the feet. This is where we shimmy that pelvis forward. We're sending that energy back through those legs, but we're lifting up the main energy, lifting from the chest, opening the chest and the heart. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet, downward facing dog. Push that floor away. Connect with that breath. Walk the hands and the feet towards one another, towards the center of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, come into a forward fold. Let everything go. Allow that neck to be long. Gently bend those knees, swan dive up. Upward salute. Exhale, draw that prana, that life force with you back to the heart. Tadasana. Good. Let's come to the center of our mats, guys. I'm going to have you place the blocks in front for us to use those blocks. As we come to the center of the mat, this allows us to mirror each other as we follow each other. This is we're going to give a lot of emphasis to the standing postures here. Here we are in Tadasana as we ground through those heels, awaken those arches, spread those toes. Hands by the chest, elbows up. Add a little hop here, and here we have this Prasarita stance, which is about one leg length. Press outer edges of the feet. I want you to rotate those big toes in slightly. Hands by the lower back. Draw those elbows towards one another as we open the chest and the heart. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, come forward. Hands under those shoulders. Good. Maybe to deepen this pose, we walk the hands back in line with those heels and imagine pulling the head through those legs. We're not fighting gravity. We're working with gravity. Good. Releasing those hamstrings, the inner groin. Good. Gently draw those hands back under the shoulders. Draw that navel in. Root with both feet. Hands on those hips. Inhale, back flat. Root and rise. Beautiful. We're going to adjust now. I'm going to have you stay here just a few seconds. I'm going to make sure that, try to block the sun a tiny bit more. Good. There we go. Good. So here we are, one leg length. We're going to adjust your left foot here for warrior two. Left knee stacked over the ankle towards that pinky toe. Also draw that left hip kind of under and towards you. This is where the gaze follows over the fingertips. Let's add a little dynamic breath. On the inhale, we'll straighten that leg. Draw those arms up. Exhale, deepen. Inhale and rise. Straighten that leg, clap. Good. Exhale, deepen. One more. Inhale and rise. Exhale, we're going to hold this warrior two. Good. Also, that torso is stacked over those hips as we gaze over the left fingertips. Balance and strength and stamina. We're going to add extended angle here, some dynamic movements. On the exhale, draw that elbow kind of inside the knee. Draw that left arm over. That's one. Inhale, rise. On the exhale, again, draw that elbow inside. Inhale and rise. Let's adjust for some of us the prop inside that left foot. Let's grow extended angle. On the exhale, elbow or shoulder inside the knee. Draw that arm over the head. This is where we grow the pose from the back foot, through the hips, through the crown of the head and the fingertips. If the neck does not bother you, you may gaze towards the top arm and the fingertips. If it does bother you, you can just gaze off to the side here. Breathe deep. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Inhale and rise. Nice, strong warrior two. Find the breath. A little more strength in that front leg. Good. On the exhale, we're going to frame the feet. Step back into plank. We're going to add a vinyasa, or we can modify here by gently lowering the knees for chaturanga. Shift forward on those toe mounds. Bend those elbows tight as light. Sternum and chest forward for chaturanga. Inhale, press to the tops of the feet. Active and straight legs. The pelvis weighs us down. Chest past the biceps. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet, toe mobility. Good. Send those hips back. Draw length in the spine. Release those hamstrings. Coming towards the center of the mat, let's lead with the hand and feet that we don't want to. Walk the hands and the feet towards the center of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. Either hands, shins, thighs, under the shoulders. This is where we draw length in the spine. Exhale, fold a bit deeper. Boy, yoga, where have you been all my life? Releasing those hamstrings. Way to show up, guys. We gently bend those knees, we sweep those arms up, we draw that energy up. Exhale, draw it back to the heart. Come to the center of the mat here. Here we are in Tadasana. Let's do a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Hands up by the chest, elbows up. On the exhale, add that hop. Here we are at that one leg length. Rotate the big toes and slightly press outer edges of the feet. Arms make like a T. Hands by that lower back. Draw the navel and elbows towards one another. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, draw length. Exhale, fold forward. Hands under the shoulders, or they can be on the blocks, or maybe gently bend the knees if we need to a bit. Deepening this pose, we walk those hands back in line with those heels. I like to try to draw my head between the legs, but come more to the midfoot. Draw the hands back under the shoulders, hands to those hips. Draw the navel in. Inhale, back flat, root and rise. Adjust that right foot, warrior two, right knee stacked over the ankle. Front leg is kind of parallel to the ground and the torso's over those hips. Let's add a dynamic expression. With the inhale, straighten the legs. Turn that palm up. Good. Brush that. There we go. Exhale, come deeper. With the inhale, straighten. We almost add a little clap here. Exhale, deepen. With the inhale, good. So we're kind of warming up here, a little dynamic exploration. Same with that extended angle. On the exhale, well, let's hold here just several more breaths. Good. Feel the pelvis, the hips are abducting, they're moving away from one another. The pelvis is opening. Extended angle, dynamic, left elbow and shoulder inside the knee, a little bit of room between the torso and the thigh. We draw that palm over the head. Inhale, rise. Exhale, elbow and shoulder inside the knee. That helps get the knee kind of towards that pinky toe. Inhale and rise. Let's, for some of us, maybe get that block. We're nice and warm. Beautiful. Utthita Parsvakonasana, elbow and shoulder inside the knee. Maybe hand to the block, draw that arm over the head. Torso rotation. Top ribs back, bottom ribs forward and under. Grow the pose from the back foot through the hip, through the crown of the head and the fingertips. If the neck does not bother you, gaze towards the top arm or the fingertips. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Inhale and rise. Sending that kind and compassionate energy. Reflecting back on our intention. Framing the feet. Step back into Phalakasana plank. We can modify Chaturanga by gently lowering the knees. Bend those elbows, draw that sternum and chest forward. Chaturanga, shoulders in line with those elbows. Press to the tops of the feet. Shimmy that pelvis forward. Feel the inner thighs spiral back. Energy out the heart. Broaden those collarbones. Exhale, come over the tops of the feet. Downward facing dog, push that floor away. Coming to the center of the mat, maybe leading with walking the hands, maybe the ones that we don't want, right? And the feet towards one another. Inhale, halfway lift. Shin thighs or under the shoulders. Exhale, fold forward. Let's give ourselves a little wrist relief here. Let's try to kind of bend those legs a little bit more. Place the palms under the feet here. And this is where we bend those elbows. We lift from the palms, but we press the feet into the palms. This is a little wrist relief here. And opening the hamstrings. Find that breath. Gently release. Good. Gently bend those knees. Inhale, draw that prana, that life force with us. Exhale, hands heart-centered. Beautiful. We're going to come to the back edge of our mat. I'm going to adjust the blocks on either side. The blocks, again, are a great tool to bring the ground closer to us and can help us, especially when we're newer to yoga, or maybe as athletes, sometimes a little bit tighter as well. Explore and refine. So we're coming to the back edge of the mat here. Let's take the feet maybe an inch or so wider than hip width apart. Pada Bandha as we waken the intrinsic foot muscles. Ground through those toes. Inhale, draw that life force with us. Energy out the fingertips. With the exhale, we're going to swan dive down. Here we have our downward facing dog, pushing that floor away. Good. We're going to come to a runner's pose as we draw around the back, draw the left knee, the chest, and the nose. Place the left foot next to the left hand. Maybe adjust that back foot so it's about hip width apart. Back leg is straight and engaged. Now we're going to add a little internal rotation. For some of you, you're going to press to the palms or active fingers under the shoulders, or you might use the block as you come to the pinky toe side of the back foot. And we grow this pose, this revolved runner's pose. So come to the pinky toe side, feel that right hip rotate internally. And that left arm stacks over the shoulder. The gaze we try to follow towards that top arm as we grow that mid-thoracic twist. Breathe deep. Breathe intentionally. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Gently lower the right knee. For some of you, you might use a block to help you under that shoulder here. As we take that left hand, clasp the outer edge of the foot, and we draw the heel towards the buttocks. We try to kind of square the shoulders forward here. The main action here is to release the right quadriceps. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Breathe deep. This has prepared us. Gently release for half splits. We're going to send the back hip over the knee. For many of us, we take the blocks outside of the heels here. We ground through that left heel. We awaken where those hamstrings originate and insert. We draw length in the spine. And this is now where we allow that left heel to kind of lead the way as we challenge ourselves in Anamanasana splits. This is where we listen to the wisdom of the body. Where we are tight, we kind of play the edge and we stay there for a while. We connect with the breath. This is where some of us are going to use the block or a smaller pillow under that sit bone, okay, to prop us if we're struggling. Eventually, right, when we make our way into the splits, we try to get that sitting bone towards the ground. In time, wisdom of the body, meet yourself where you are. Wherever you are, I want you to kind of press to the top of the back foot. Feel that inner thigh spiral back. You then ground through the heel of that extended leg. Engage the quadriceps to release the hamstrings. Pointing the foot actually makes it a little bit easier. So play around. This is where we move, we express. We meet ourselves where we are, Anu Manasana. We've got the hands by the blocks for support. Some of you have had practice yoga before. You may explore drawing those arms up, drawing length, spinal extension. Beautiful. Coming out of this pose, as we tuck the back toes, we frame that left leg, we engage the core to draw that left heel back. How we transition in and out of these poses is so important. Mindfully find our way back to down dog. Push that floor away. Wrap those triceps behind, shoulders engaged, firm those thighs, and we breathe. We intentionally breathe. Inhale and exhale through the nose, that ocean breath. Runner's pose on the right side. Round that upper back, draw the right knee, the chest, and the nose. Place that right foot next to the right hand. Here we have this runner's pose. Back leg is straight and engaged. We either can have active fingers or press through the palms. This is where we're going to come to that pinky toe side of the back foot. I want you to feel that internal rotation of that left leg. Draw that right arm up. Come into that mid-thoracic twist. Good. So we're releasing the abductors as we internally rotate that back leg, adding a twist in the upper and the middle back. Gently lowering that left knee. This is where some of you will keep that block as we draw that right arm behind, clasping that foot, drawing the heel towards the buttocks. This is where we try to kind of square those shoulders. Really release the back hip flexors. We're all prepared for half splits. Maybe we take those blocks if we have them. We frame the foot. We send the hip over that back knee, the hips over the back knee. We ground through the heel of that right leg. Toes are awake. We awaken those hamstrings as well. Good. Sternum and chest come forward as we draw length here in the spine in a flexion. We breathe and we prepare. Hamstrings are often very tight for many people. We meet ourselves where we are. Surfing the edges, either if we have the blocks right, wherever we are, we allow the heel to kind of lead the way. And this is where some of us may take a block or pillow and place it under that sit bone of that right leg, meeting ourselves where you are, and we breathe. When we can get that sitting bone grounded, we press to the top of the back foot. Energetically, we draw that front hip back, back hip forward. Again, dorsiflexion of that front foot or makes it more difficult. Pointing the foot actually makes it easier. Play around. Good. Allowing the breath to take you maybe another 1/8 of an inch lower. Once, for some of you, can get that sit bone grounded, you can play around with spinal extension, maybe drawing those arms up. Yoga, where have you been all my life? Good. To come out of this pose, we tuck the back toes. We frame palms to the ground, frame that leg, connect to the core as we draw that right heel back. Come into a downward facing dog. Push that floor away. With the exhale, heels a little closer to the ground. Breathe deep. Yoga, where have you been all my life? A healing practice. A cultivation of positive emotions. Gently lower those knees. We're going to come onto our back body here. Good. And we're going to explore a glute bridge, so connect to the back side of the body and connect to strengthening around the spine. We're going to draw the feet a little bit closer to our glutes here so we can kind of touch those heels. The feet are about 6 inches apart, maybe hip width apart. We're going to rotate the big toes in slightly. With the inhale, we are lifting up. I want you to feel those hips lifting. Place those hands on the back of the hips here. Lift those hips up. We want to keep the knees in line with those hips. We kind of draw the shoulder blades towards the spine here. Shoulders are grounded, broaden those collarbones. So this is a supported bridge. We're going to explore another level of supported bridge. We either can keep the block low, surf the edges here, maybe medium, right under the sacrum, that triangle bone. And for some of us, we place it maybe high, so play around. Now we're going to extend those legs. I want to share with you guys, so this is a supported bridge. The lumbar vertebrae often loses its lumbar curve, that lordotic curve. Bones are living tissues. This is a healing posture that can help restore this to the lumbar spine. So we're going to stay here a while as we ground through those heels. What we're doing is we're also opening that front body. As we're lying here in the supported bridge, increasing the natural curvature, we're also opening those hips, a lifting of the chest, the main action of the breath here. With the inhale, you feel the diaphragm breathing here. The prana rise, the chest open and expand. We're going to stay here a while, reaping the benefits of supported bridge. Coming out of this pose, we're going to gently bend those legs, draw those heels again closer to the buttocks, rotate the big toes in slightly. With the inhale, we lift up and we remove the block here, but now I want us to come into another bridge pose. We're going to stay either hands here, rooting with the feet, inner thighs, spiraling back, or we can keep the arms long, or maybe interlace those arms so the arms are long and parallel here. Scapula coming towards the spine. Lightly engage those lower glutes, and I want you to engage those hamstrings as we lift those hips, building strength in that posterior chain. Spinal health. Yoga, where have you been all my life? With the inhale, releve up. Let's draw those arms over the head so we lift those heels. And now we're going to roll it one vertebrae at a time. Good. Let's take the feet about a mat width apart here, about maybe 12 inches away from the buttocks here. Let's neutralize the spine as we allow the knees to drop to the right. We call these windshield wipers, and the left. We'll do several of these. Allow the knees to drop to the right and the left, neutralizing the spine. Two more. Come to Apanasana as we draw the knees towards the chest here. A supine forward fold here. As we draw the knees to the chest, we're drawing length in the spine. The main action is to breathe evenly and try to get the tailbone towards the ground. We'll stay here several breaths. Now we're going to draw both knees, guide them both here to the left. If you need a block to place under the knee, you can. We have the ankles, knees, and hips stacked. We're going to extend that right arm from the shoulder here, trying to get the shoulder towards the ground. Good. And this is where the gaze follows us. We kind of lower the chin towards the shoulder. Follow the gaze over the shoulder towards the right hand. It's okay to even close those eyes and breathe deep into this mid-thoracic twist. Some of you may even explore straightening those legs, clasping the outer edge of that right foot. Little more iliotibial band stretch, IT down stretch. Gently come back center as we draw both knees to the chest. Guide both knees now across the body as we stack the ankles and the knees and extend that left arm from the shoulder. This is where the gaze can follow us as we're trying to maybe get the chin towards the shoulder lightly and follow over the fingertips of the left arm. Breathe deep, intentionally. That ocean breath, audible with the breath. Gently come back center as we draw both knees to the chest. Tailbone towards the ground. Happy baby pose. So we're going to widen those knees here. Heels are stacked over the ankles. Either can clasp the belly of the hamstrings. This is a light hip opener, but another spine lengthener, and my students love this pose. Or we can interweave those arms inside, clasp the outer edges of the feet, and again, tailbone towards the ground. I like to connect with the breath here. On the inhale, draw the knees a little closer to the shoulders. On the exhale, tailbone closer towards the ground. A way to neutralize the spine and open those hips. Breathe deep. One last pose before our Shavasana. You could either just stay here with the knees to the chest, but this is kind of a partial inversion here. And so for many of us, a forward fold is very common as a pose we do at the end of our practice. But sometimes I like to approach it of a reclined forward fold, and it becomes an inversion. So for many of us, placing the strap on the balls of the feet. So this pose, our back stays on the ground. Maybe our lower back picks up just a bit. So the strap is a good way to release those hamstrings and find your way into the practice. And eventually, I like to kind of come from my belly to my calves and draw the feet a little bit closer towards the ground. Spine is grounded, my lower back off the ground, but just breathe deep. Release the entire backside body, but yet we're not in a forward flexion, which is unique for our spine too in this pose. Gently come out of this pose as we find our way in Apanasana. Knees to the chest. Give ourselves one last hug. Reach those legs out. Often people's favorite pose, Shavasana. Maybe point those fingers. Maybe interlace those hands. Reach out. One last stretch here. Draw length in the spine. Hero is in his Shavasana. Little hero here is in his Shavasana. Let everything go as we nestle down. Often we the heels are in, the toes are out. We might puff up the chest and let everything go, soaking in the fruit of our labors. Yoga, where have you been all my life? One of the messages of Namaste is to be the light and share the light, as this practice is transformational. I invite you guys to stay here longer, soaking in the many benefits of your efforts. Let everything go.